Hey, you listen to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM 89.0, ArrowFM and MPR. I'm Grady, and live on Skype we have the 3-hour removed birthday boy Josh.
Hey.
Let's just go straight into Raw, and let's wing our way through this show. But opening the show, Vince decides to announce this brand new WILDCARD rule.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's so randomly some superstars from SmackDown will start showing up on Raw, and Raw superstars will randomly show up on SmackDown, thus beginning the first pillar to knocking down the brand extension.
It was I don't know, things have been so murky lately because, you know, we had the shake-up, so everybody was appearing everywhere, and then, you know, the shake-up weekends, and then we're still shaking up the week after, and the week after, and the week after, and I feel like I asked, you know, are we going to be shaking up this week, and in a way they did, just now it's sort of like a permanent shake-up where people will just sort of randomly show up wherever they want to show up with some arbitrary limit on the number of them.
Yeah, we're not exactly sure how many people will be on for each show. It could be 1, it could be 5, it could be 10. There could be an army of SmackDown people showing up on Raw, and vice versa.
Yeah, well, it was initially announced as like 3 people per. I think it got changed to 4 at one point, but I think somebody counted like 6 people who showed up on Raw, but some of them didn't count, and it was all over the place. But I like the thought of in kayfabe there being a limited number, so 4, since that's the last number we heard, right? And then like, is it the general managers that book these 4 to show up, or is it just the first 4 in the door? If Roman Reigns shows up...
Well, there are no general managers, remember that.
Sorry. The, whatever you want to call the people who are running these brands?
That would be the McMahon family.
There we go. Does the McMahon family decide on the 4?
I have no clue, because I'm pretty sure if it was the McMahon family deciding, Roman Reigns would not have gotten in.
That's a good point. But see, maybe they already had 4 people lined up, and then Roman Reigns sort of showed up. That took a number off the tally, so Mr. Number 4 that they had lined up had to disappear and not appear. Because it would have been totally illegal for them to show up. In short, I don't understand this premise at all if there is an arbitrary limit, because that makes it really weird. I get it if it's just a case of some people from the other show will show up at some point. And it's just so much easier to understand with that than with any other combination of things. But obviously, as you mentioned, Roman Reigns rocks up. One of the first people to be wild-carded. He showed up, he did exactly what he was going to say, and didn't really make the most of it.
No.
Basically, he just likes to get beat up, and that's why he went to Raw, to get beat up by a different group of people.
Yeah, he got beat up by Drew again.
That's pretty much it. Other than, like, big matches, the big dog likes getting beat up. Whether it be Drew McIntyre, Shane McMahon, Elias, pick one. But to be fair, Shane McMahon's beating up a hell of a lot of people right now as well, so... Nah.
Yeah, and the Miz got a piece of him on Raw or SmackDown, so it is one of those things where it's just the storylines are going to start blending in between the shows. And I know I said this was the first domino, but what was it really, or was the first domino Becky winning both women's titles?
If we're talking about dominoes, then yes, that one definitely caused, you know, a competitor to be on both brands. I guess the women's tag titles as well, being defended cross-brand.
Yeah, since the titles are being defended in separate matches, though, it's still like a shaky domino, I guess.
Yeah.
We're not sure where its placement is. But if it's not, then this definitely, well, when we look back and say October, we'll be looking back at this event and saying, well, that was what caused this.
Yeah. I've seen some, like, extremely meta explanations that, you know, are so far out there, but I'd love to mention them just to get a laugh out of you. I've heard this being not the first domino to the brand separation, but the first domino to the Vince is senile storyline, because he can't count and changed the number multiple times, made up a rule on the spot, and kept getting confused, leading to Triple H kicking him out and taking over. That's my favorite conspiracy theory.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the first domino in that was the whole Kofi Mania storyline.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because I guess, actually, probably putting Charlotte in the main event of WrestleMania. That was the first domino.
True. In terms
in
of
Kofi Mania.
Going against constantly with Triple H, I guess. Like he banned Becky, and then all of a sudden, like, Steph unbanned her or something. So there is, I guess, legs to this, but I still believe it is some completely utter wild conspiracy theory.
Yeah, of course it is. But it's just the fun of hey, yeah, if he's such a senile person, then that's what would be the evidence for it.
Like, if that was the way I thought they were possibly going, as a direction for a storyline, then this is completely a segment I'd write for that. It's just old man goes nuts, does whatever he wants to do. And it would be great for that purpose. For the purpose of bolstering both brands, so both different companies you're with are happy with the shows because they have all of the star power in the world. That's the more logical option, I guess. And because your ratings are taking a nosedive.
Yeah. And there's a possibility that they may shuffle more talent down the NXT as we get closer to the big jump to Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they do end the brand's split, that's going to create a situation where there's going to be a ton of talent for the two shows, but no spots for everybody.
Yeah.
And if the rumors are true that they're looking into creating NXT as a television show for FS1, then they would need more talent and more star power for that.
Yeah. But they already have a whole nother TV show on Raw. And it's our favorite, Firefly Funhouse.
Oh, they're definitely taking the Pee Wee Herman, Pee Wee's Playhouse, and just cranking it up to 11 on the creepy scale.
Yeah.
And then breaking the scale and turning it to 1,000.
Is that what you explained decapitating the Rambling Rabbit?
Yep, with the poor rabbit. But yeah, it just the cuts to like the glove scene from the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
The soulless children at the end. That looked like they didn't. Not only did they not care to be there, they didn't want to be there, and they just were lifeless.
Yeah.
Almost. This is going to go so dark when it finally snaps.
Yeah.
But boy, is the ride so much fun right now.
We talked about conspiracy theories with Vince. Honestly, this show is also spawning a hell of a lot of conspiracy theories. Around what everything means. Bray has sent everybody on like a search back like 3 years, looking at his promos from like 2016 or something. He's like, I snuck some random lines in and people have gone nuts trying to figure it out.
Yeah, it was 2015, by the way.
Oh, close enough.
I saw the tweet. But I had no interest in actually doing that.
You just let other people do it, and then you just read the answer and like, oh yeah, cool, I helped.
Yeah, this is just I still don't know what they're doing, but I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, I guess I'm still half holding on to my insane theory I came up with about the whole psychiatric care and Mercy being the doctor thing. And then it's a bit more interesting when Mercy eats a rabbit, about what that actually means if Mercy is the doctor. But I can't think too much into that, because it's also a wrestling show, or a show inside of a wrestling show about wrestling.
And you definitely can't go that meta, I don't think, simply because the show is technically still PG.
Yes.
So there is a limit to what they can do.
They can devour a rabbit, they can't devour a human, for example. Before we get off this ride of Raw, we should also mention the main event. It was Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, and much to our wonderful glee, Kofi retained.
This makes
meaning
a
that
lot
his
of
first
sense.
title defense has been completed.
It was pretty much just a SmackDown main event over on Raw, to be fair.
Yeah. But don't cry for Daniel Bryan. He got a prize on SmackDown.
Yeah, well, we knew Shane McMahon wanted to give out those SmackDown tag titles, and he did the McMahons proud despite not winning, and earned himself a quick shot against newly Raw superstars, the Usos, for the SmackDown Tag Championships.
I thought they were handed the titles,
No,
and then had to defend them.
It's possible. It's possible. I'm reading the recap here. Don't make me read through it all. There we go. They handed it to them, and then they said, the Usos came out and said, you gotta earn those, fight me for them. And then they fought for them.
Yeah.
So they were gonna get them anyway. To be fair, the Usos coming over from Raw, I doubt they would win the SmackDown Tag Championships either anyway, so... Hey. This whole WILDCARD thing is gonna confuse me for ages. I'm not going to be able to understand it.
No. But, and again, going back to the previous point, I think it's just training us to get our minds out of the brand extension era.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was an interesting thing. So that we now know that whatever happened with Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, he's fine now. And... he's going forward, him and Rowan, at least still have a storyline to do.
Mm-hmm.
So they still have something to do. Nope, I'm not getting my hopes up.
You were almost there, and then you're like, actually, no, I'm going to back off now.
Yeah, because that's pointless. I just realized, well, that's not going to happen because of... him wanting his release and being told no.
Go sit on the couch for 6 months. Yep.
No, and then add another 6 months.
Yeah, no, go sit on the couch for 6 months because we told you, and then go sit on the couch for an extra 6 months because you were a little bit hurt. The Rey Mysterio strategy. Alright, well, we're over halfway through the show, and that means it is time for our entrance theme of the week. Because it was Josh's birthday, when does this air? Like 3 or 4 days ago. I was going to say we let you choose the theme, but to be fair, you choose the theme every week. Tell the people what you chose and roll us in.
I chose the Ultimate Warriors theme. Because it's my favorite theme.
And you're back with a wrestling roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM MPR, Grady and Josh. That comeback from song is so long now. But we're on the SmackDown side of things, but much like the wild card rule, we're allowed to talk about 2 matches from Raw during the SmackDown section and 2 SmackDown segments during the Raw section, okay? Because we've kind of blown through a lot of SmackDown already, to be fair.
Yeah.
But Randy Orton, he sort of set his sights, because he ruined a really good Ali Andrade match.
Yeah, and he wants to be WWE champion again, and he wants that to be the second 2-time Mr. Money in the Bank winner.
Mm-hmm.
Which would be hilarious to me.
I don't know, man.
Although not as quite as funny as if it was The Miz that became the first.
True. I would, I don't know. I'm at the point where I wouldn't be surprised if Randy won the briefcase. I don't know why.
I already told you last week. Anybody that's won it already is not winning it again this year.
Yeah, I'm going against what you told me. I know every time I do this I go wrong. But I don't know. I'm going to put 5% on Orton. Gut feeling. 5% of $0 is still $0, but hey.
I'm putting it all on the line on Drew McIntyre.
Oh, that's where my other 95% is, to be fair.
Which probably means that it's probably going to be Andrade, and the house will win.
Oh, bloody house. To be fair, the house has really good odds when we pick like one person each, and it's the same person. But yeah, the Money in the Bank. What are we now? We're like a couple weeks out. May 19th. Oh, don't say that date. We're 1 week of content out. May 19th was the whole Kane gimmick, right?
Somewhere around there, yeah. And it had to do with his sequel to See No Evil.
May 19th, Kane. Yes. You just weren't allowed to mention May 19th. It drove him insane.
Yeah, and that would be hard for me because that's my sister's birthday.
Oh, to be fair, it was your birthday yesterday. It's my aunt's birthday tomorrow, and that's usually how I try to remember it. And then, your sister's birthday next week, and it's just so many birthdays in a row. But, I don't know. I really liked that Kane thing. I feel like I'm getting off topic, but I did want to mention it because I liked that Kane storyline. Nobody else seemed to. But we're on SmackDown, and I said we'd talk about some Raw matches, and we're about to, because the US title's going to be on the line at Money in the Bank, with Samoa Joe defending against Little Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, hey. They're now 1-1. So, time for the, proverbial tiebreaker.
Yeah. Good luck, Ray.
Yeah.
You're gonna need it.
Yeah. I have an evil thought here.
Oh no. These are never good.
Well, I think this would be fun. What if Dominic turned on Ray? Cost him the match. And then they did it like the kind of like the storyline ECW did with Raven and Sandman's son.
Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of becomes like a disciple of Samoa Joe for a while.
Oh no. Don't put that in my head. Because I liked that. Oh, Ray, you're gonna have a real bad time. You're gonna get beat up and lose your son. Ah, sucks to be you, Ray. But also, on Money in the Bank, we're gonna have the Cruiserweight title. Probably on the pre-show, I would assume, because it always is. Tony Nese gonna be defending against Arya Daivari.
And I say... I don't care.
That's a fair call.
I no disparaging to the champion or the challenger. They just are meaningless to me.
Mm-hmm.
Buddy Murphy was the draw. Cedric Alexander was the draw for 205 Live.
They both go.
Ali was the draw. Now now that anybody that's still there in 205 Live, they're faceless, nameless, soulless beings to me. I don't care. I don't have a reason to care.
Harsh.
I don't have a reason to care.
Oh, I feel bad for all of them. Oh, I'm sorry, people. You just got beat down by Josh's words. Show me on the door where his words hurt you. I'm gonna move away from the Cruiserweight division before you bury them further. And I'm gonna instead talk about the Women's Tag division. Because Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville continue their feud against Paige.
Because they're angry because because Paige decided she wanted the Asian team over them. Because she would rather have a successful team than a rehash of a previous team that didn't work.
Yeah.
And a reminder of her having to retire.
There's a real deep storyline for something that's going to basically just be a number one contenders match.
Yeah, kind of. I guess it'll be a default one. I guess I don't know. Or it's just going to be a one-off thing where just they have the match, and that's that.
Mm-hmm. I don't see it being a huge feud moving forward.
No.
I also see the Asuka and Sane picking up the win.
Of course they will.
They have a manager. Managers win. That's how Brock Lesnar won so often. It's because he had a manager. He knew the secret.
Yet every loss he's had since he's returned, he lost to somebody who doesn't have a manager.
Hey, there's exceptions to the rule. Okay? Sometimes you lose to non-managers. But
I'll take that back. There was one person, I think, that did have somebody in their corner that beat him. And that was Triple H.
Yeah. There we go, see? Had a manager, won.
Well, technically had a wife.
To be fair, that's why Mike Kanellis wins so much on 205. Oh no, wait. Damn. I'm gonna have to rethink this rule. I do not have a lot of evidence towards it. But what I do have evidence towards is the main event of SmackDown, Kofi Kingston taking on Raw Superstar Sami Zayn and Raw Superstar AJ Styles.
And if we're talking about the match, we're going to have to talk about Braun Strowman throwing Sami Zayn in a dumpster.
Are you wildcarding back to Raw, or you're wildcarding back over to Raw?
Yeah, it's just amazing that he survived being thrown in a garbage can by a garbage device by Braun, and then had a great match on SmackDown.
That's just the life of Sami Zayn. And now I'm going to talk about Conspiracy Theory 2 of this wildcard rule. What if it was just set up so that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn could see each other again? After we spent so long trying to separate them, we just can't.
That hurts my soul.
I just know how much you were rooting for them to be separated. And now they got to meet once again and be involved in the same storyline, and it is funny. So, I got nothing else. I just want to leave with that and just be like, haha, they interacted again. But we're fairly sure that we're just, full steam ahead to Kofi versus Owens. I don't think a title change is going to happen between now and then, and Kofi continues to be a workhorse, working both shows.
Yeah, and the match itself was really, really good. But yeah, Kofi ended up defending the title twice this week.
He's a good champ.
Yeah. Back in my mind, though, it was the wonder, are they actually going to put the title on AJ so they can put both titles on the line at Money in the Bank? Even though it made absolutely no sense.
No, don't put that in my head. Nope.
But I'm like, no, they didn't.
I thought about it a little bit, and I want you to take that back out of the universe. I want you to never think that thought.
Well, because that would basically just negate the WWE Championship match that was already announced.
Not the first time. Hashtag card subject to change.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I was thinking during the title match on SmackDown. Was the back of my mind was like, well, there's always the possibility they could put the title on him to unify the titles. But that may be but that's probably something that'll go down probably at SummerSlam, to be honest. If they're going to unify titles, it's probably at one of the big four.
Yep. Alright, well, that's all we have time for this week. It's been great talking to you.
Bye-bye.
You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/wrestling radio, Twitter page, twitter.com/wrestling radio, and we'll see you all next week with the preview for Money in the Bank.